Namaste, welcome to Namaste Poon, my very own YouTube channel. My name is Poon, I'm the founder and CEO at Butler. Today, I'm creating a YouTube channel. And this is the very first video for me to share my knowledge that I have acquired over all these years. I've been doing business since I was 14 years old. And I thought that since I love business strategy so much and I love going into looking at all angles, I thought that it would be very nice that I'll be able to create a YouTube channel like this and share my knowledge with the general audience and also with my fellow employees who can understand how the CEO thinks and also what goes on in a CEO mindset and how, as a CEO, I will be able to, first of all, forecast, be adaptive, be resilient against micro and macroeconomic climate changes, right? The world is very dynamic nowadays. So how can we create a system and a business that is very resilient, very adaptive, and more importantly, productive and efficient at all times? So without further ado, let's get started. The topic on capitalistic management and socialistic management is something that is very often debated. The problem with these words is that many times businesses or even individuals, right, you and me, we often get associated with politics or with a certain regime or something like this. But actually it is not. The thing here is that capitalism and socialism are like yin and yang. Like they both kind of always attack each other because the thing here is that they always think that one is better than the other, right? They both exist because they thought the other is not good enough. Like for example, socialism was created because they thought capitalism was not good enough, and capitalism was created more or less because they kind of didn't like what socialism was doing, which is state-owned, common welfare and all these things. Just be mindful that they are like the yin and the yang, and the fact that they both exist is a very, very important thing that it tells businesses, leaders, and SME owners on how our businesses can also be adaptive, can also build resilience, and can also actually be adaptive and be nimble to adopt or even have, before we even adopt, to have the understanding and the knowledge, because they don't actually talk about this much, to actually have and through this video I hope that I will be able to share some of this knowledge with y'all, and y'all will be able to also grasp it a little bit better than before you watch this video, and that will actually serve the purpose of me creating content. Let's just start with the basics. So capitalistic management. What is capitalism? So capitalism believes that or if not, they kind of practice free market, right? They practice that with a merit system whereby for a certain productivity to happen, right, the people that are doing that productivity must be able to function at that level. And that a capitalistic mindset is that, suppose I'll put into a business form so that it's easier for you to understand as well. So suppose if a business is looking to hire a GM in a capitalistic environment, the capitalist management style company will post up a job ad, for example at $7,000, $8,000 Singapore dollars, and they will post the job ad out. They would expect the candidate with that skill set and that knowledge and that ability to function in that role to come and apply for the job. And the business would then expect the person that applied for the job to be able to produce the results or the productivity that the business is looking for. It is a very interesting and of course it is a very productive model. You can think about it is that if the candidate that they hire doesn't fit the role, they will remove the candidate immediately. That also goes for existing employees, right? A very capitalistic mindset business is, first of all, very growth driven, very efficient. So what does that mean? They would often have a lot of A performers and some B performers and maybe one or two C performers in the business. But most likely, anything above that, below that, D, E, and F will get eliminated in the system fast. And that's how businesses is able to keep ensuring that its momentum and its growth and its targets are being achieved. Of course, we can see in news, like, there are always big banks that grow and then retrenches, grow and then retrenches. So they are very capitalistic management style, right? They get the productivity, they get the results, they go. Now, in a socialistic management system, how does it work? So in a socialistic management system, they will more be like, socialistic management is more like, welfare, well-being, and that employees come together, right? And they kind of come and pick a leader, or they promote someone within their means. It's a very family oriented system, but sometimes at the expense of growth and productivity. And this is very important. Businesses needs to know like which side they are currently skewing towards, because end of the day, a business is either you are 100% right for the target, or you are 100% family, or very stable, very comfortable business style. Like, as a business, it's very easy to identify which portion you are on. By now, you should also know, like, you can give a gauge of 0 to 10, like where you are at. Now, for a socialistic management style, what you will do, like for example, when there's a GM role available, they will actually look within their system and say, hey, right, maybe someone wants to, maybe the company, we can choose someone to be the GM within the system, and let's maybe try with this one, this employee, and let's get the employee to be the GM, even though maybe the GM may not be, the employee may not be able to function at the GM's capability. And that is a very nice model. I mean, like I said, socialistic and capitalistic model both coexist very well and functions very well as a business model. But of course, with the expense of maybe, there's a lesser productivity, this and that. But the general idea here is that the reason why I'm sharing these two contrasts with you is that with the macroeconomic climate being very dynamic these days, businesses needs to be able to, first of all, right, set very clear goals and very clear messaging on what kind of objective they want for their business to be functioning for this year or the year after or the year before, right? And how they can improve better. So what you can do as an entrepreneur, or even as a business owner, or as a SME, is that you can actually look at these two models and try to like understand the pros and the cons of it. When you have for example, like with the current, we are at the start of 2024, January. So for the sake of the video that will be up perpetually, this video is recorded in January of 2024. The macroeconomic climate of the world isn't really that stable. So it's a little bit unpredictable. And as a business, what is the safest option that you can do to ensure that your business stays adaptive, stays resilient, whichever model you are on, right? Whichever side you're on, maybe you're on a 4, right? Or you're on a 6, or you're on a 1, or you're on a 10, right? It doesn't matter whether you're on the left or the right. Is that you need to understand what priorities is it. So for example, like for a business that wants to ensure that their bottom line is being protected, they would more likely turn towards the capitalistic mindset or the capitalistic management style, which is that get the productivity done, get the results based on merits, and then have more A and B grade employees within the system and some C grade employees. And for socialistic management style, the thing here is that when you have too many of D and E and F, or C or B, C, D, E, F, or A, B, C, D, E, F within your system, you have also known as the welfare system. You will have a more challenging time ahead, in a sense that if your business is very profitable, very margin based, great, you shouldn't have any issues. But if your system is more tight in terms of margin, you are running a service business, your end-to-end is predictable, then you have to consider that your advantage might be at risk. For example, a business that goes onto the capitalistic management style will be able to get things done more productively than your business. So it is really about being able to see trends. But of course, let's talk about COVID times. During COVID times are very different compared to now. Things are very predictable, right? Revenue is strong, and in those times, a business will most likely take on a very socialistic structure. For example, having growth, having common growth, having welfares, having performance and non-performance within the system, all being recognized. So I would say that generally how should I say this? In summary, I probably went on for too long, but in a summary, capitalism created the greatest productivity that the world has seen since 19th century. So from the 19th century, the moment capitalism was introduced, the GDP of the humanity for all time prior to that, since the Roman era and even the Egyptians, have always been flatlined. It was until capitalism that in the 100 years that it uplift the most amount of poverty, right? Because of capitalism. So it created the greatest wealth opportunity that humanity has ever seen. Now, socialism, on the other hand, created more, or not say created, but rather they are more towards the grounding effect. So for example, we look at the system that was introduced in a very socialist kind of structure. The state owns company, the state owns this and that. Productivity generally plateaued. It didn't perform as well as the capitalism counterparts, for sure. And the employees generally didn't go on that much of a merit system anymore, but they are more like, they get promoted due to basically favorism or years in service, so on and so forth. So the innovation that is being introduced to the business by its own people, by its own employees, is lesser compared to a capitalist system. So be mindful about it. Like these two systems are very very important. Like both systems play a very important part depending on which timeline of the macroeconomic climate it is. They are, like I said, they are like the yin and the yang. So they both coexist and they both actually balances each other's out from time to time. But as business owners, I believe that for 2024, at least for this year, I think it is more likely that a business would adapt more towards the capitalistic model than the socialistic model, to ensure that the business stays afloat and stays nimble as the outlook stabilizes over time, and that businesses also stabilizes with that volatility in the market space. So that's for this video. looking forward to the next one, and I thought that this will be helpful. If you like this, drop me a follow. If you have any questions, drop me a comment below. I think I'll improve on my video style also in the coming days, but more importantly, it's more like just getting the topic out. So be mindful that of the capitalistic and socialistic management style, and more importantly, stay safe, stay good, and have a great year ahead. Thank you.